Welcome back, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer, so now let's talk silver. I wish I would have seen a video like this when I first started stacking. I didn't understand how strategic silver stacking could be. Yes, it's one of the easier types of investments. You don't have to learn how to day trade stocks or any of that, but there still is a lot of strategy that goes into this. Depending on your time frame of selling will depend on the types of silver you'll be buying. Depending on your financial situation, depending on when you entered the market and what the price was, depending on what the price of premiums were over spot when you entered, depending on so many variables. Are you stacking silver as an SHTF prepper or more as a hobby? Maybe a coin enthusiast, maybe a collector, maybe someone that's just hedging against inflation, maybe someone who's diversifying their portfolio and putting 15% in. But I don't think people understand how important, how big of a role the psychological aspect of investing is. And to be honest, that's the most important role. You could have a perfect strategy, perfect down to the penny of what you should be doing. But if you are investing off of emotion, impulse buying, panic selling, not really playing it cool, calm, and collect, stepping outside of yourself, indulging in all of the FUD, which is fear, uncertainty, doubt, and the FOMO. And it's just not necessary to indulge in that type of content. Now, yes, it's important to stay informed, and the markets aren't always rainbows and unicorns. Sometimes I'll talk about how silver's price is manipulated. Sometimes I'll talk about why a bear market might be coming up, but that doesn't mean that I'm spreading fear, right? At the end of the day, we all know that silver is the safest, smartest investment by far, and you have to remember that. But if you are someone who's checking the price daily, and it's making you feel some type of way, or if the price does go down below $20, as it's looking like that might be where it's headed, that you start second guessing yourself, or maybe saying that you made a mistake or got in this for the wrong reasons as a get rich quick scheme, and not understanding the time frame or why people invest into silver. All of these things can play a huge role, and to be honest, most people don't even break even that stack silver. And that's because they get in it not understanding what they're getting into. They're just hopping on the bandwagon or jumping on the Wall Street silver train, or just doing it because their friend told them to. And then within a couple of months, maybe a year at most, they end up selling it. And beyond all that, people just don't know how to manage money. They don't understand the value of a dollar, and they don't understand the value of silver. So all of this is equating to one thing. There are a lot of mistakes to be made, a lot of bad decision making. I don't necessarily think there's a wrong way to buy silver. There are wrong ways to sell silver, but this video is just going to be talking about stuff you shouldn't do, right? You shouldn't do. Before we jump into this, make sure you click subscribe, because I'm going to be doing some big giveaways coming up. The first giveaway entry video is coming up in the next couple of days, so click the bell as well so you don't miss when the video gets posted, and may the luckiest stackers win. Now, what are some of the things that I would recommend telling someone if they started stacking? I would say, one, do you have money set aside? Because if you don't, the second your car breaks down and you got to get new brake pads, or maybe a medical bill arises, or maybe you lose your job and you don't have money put aside to cover rent for the next couple of months until you find a new job, you're going to sell your silver, and you're selling it at a loss. That's why I say most people don't even break even, because they end up selling before those coins or bars have time to appreciate. Another reason is people get distracted. It's very, very easy to get distracted and start buying very expensive, unnecessary coins like graded coins, or even along the lines of Morgans, or paying extremely high premiums on American Eagles when you could be buying generics or buying 10-ounce bars, getting a bigger bang for your buck. It's hard to find a specific seller when you buy a more expensive coin. It's not as liquid. You can't just walk into your local coin shop and just dump silver on the table and cash out like that Pawn Stars episode. That a lot of people saw. That guy came in and dumps that box on the table. That's what most people probably vision they would be doing when they stack, but in the reality, everything's digital now. You're gonna have to make an eBay account. You're gonna have to list your silver on there. You're gonna have to find buyers that are willing to pay your price. It is competitive. You're gonna have to package all that silver. You're going to have to build a reputation on there. No one's going to buy from you if you just made your account last week. So you're going to have to slowly add your stack over time. You're also going to have to pay the PayPal fees, the eBay fees. I mean, there's a lot to this, and that's stuff that I don't think people really think about. So I recommend that you do. Another big thing that I recommend when you start stacking is before you ever buy that ounce that you're looking at or buy those coins or make that purchase, think about how easy it is to sell those coins. Think about that before you even buy it. That's helped me avoid a lot of bad decision making, and I definitely wish I would have known about that earlier, because nowadays, 8 years later, I'm having to buy silver that I should have been buying when I first started. I got extremely distracted, which I don't regret. I mean, I'm definitely someone who's also a collector. I'm going to be keeping a lot of my silver to the grave. It's not like this is strictly for profit, but I definitely got into the pandas, the graded coins, the stuff that had extremely high premiums. If I would have just focused on the cheapest stuff, my stack would probably be twice as big, maybe even more. And I'm not even exaggerating. A lot of my coins are $50, $100, $200, where spot price for the last 10 years has been $15. So I could have been paying $20, $25 for that ounce instead of $40, $45. Now that's my decision. I consciously knew that. I just was buying stuff that I like. And they do say if you buy what you like, you'll never make a bad purchase, because regardless if the coin does poorly or not, at least you have silver you like. And that's kind of the way I'm going is, I'm not going to be selling a lot of this, but I am starting to build weight. I'm starting to buy kilo bars. I'm starting to buy generics, which is stuff that I would never buy. Never owned a kilo bar before. Never even really owned a tube of generics before. But now those are things that I am buying. So that's another thing. That's another very important tip, is learning how to budget, learning how to make decisions based off of your time frame. Are you planning on selling in 5, 10 years, or are you planning on selling in 20 years? That will play a big difference. Do you know that some coins that are pegged to spot price are going to potentially put you in a situation that would not make you as much money as coins that are detached from spot price? And that's because high premium semi-numismatic coins, those grow in value over the years as they become more collectible, because the design changes yearly or there's lower mintage numbers, so people want to collect every single year. But if you have a coin like a Maple Leaf, or let's say a Libertad or a Britannia or an Eagle, except for the new Type 2 Eagles, those coins, they stay the same. So it's a very basic coin minted in the tens of millions, whereas a Kookaburra is 300 to 500,000 annually. So they're more scarce. And those coins in 3, 4, 5 years could double, triple in value, where if you have a generic round, that coin is pegged to spot price. So if spot price stays $25 in the next 20 years, your stack has not appreciated a single penny. But if you're someone who believes spot price will be a lot higher, then go with generics. But if you're someone who wants that little bit of security that regardless of what silver's price is doing, I have coins that will grow, then you're going to want to do both. And that's why we always say diversification is key. But if you're a prepper, SHTF prepper, then you're just going to want stuff that's definitely backed by the United States if you live in the United States. You don't want generics really, because the average person that stacks silver, they would recognize a Walking Liberty or a Morgan or even an Eagle. But if you have some Sunshine Mint Round or a Volcambi bar, if you're trading or bartering, they're not going to know what that is. There's a lot more legitimacy if you have a government-backed coin that was used as legal tender. So a lot of preppers you'll see have constitutional silver and they have eagles. Also, heavy bars. I know I own kilo bars now, but the biggest I used to do was 10 ounces because let's say I have a kilo bar, 26 ounces or whatever, and I I go to sell it someday, but silver's $300, $400. Imagine how expensive that bar would be. Who's going to be able to afford that? I just cut down my potential customer base to a very small margin to only people that have a lot of money. But if I had 26 1 ounce coins instead of that 26 ounce bar, it's a lot more likely that I'll be able to find people that are willing to buy at least a couple of ounces. So liquidity is critical depending on your situation, but that's also something you got to think about. 26 1 ounce coins or a 26 ounce bar could be a big difference, and you're not going to take a chainsaw to that bar. Same with fractional silver. You're going to see a lot of barterers and traders or people who potentially think silver is going to go that route or the economy will. You'll see them owning fractional silver. Because just like we use change today, if you want to buy a stick of gum, but it's 35 cents and all you have is a dollar bill, what are you going to do? Cut that dollar bill in a third? You can't. What are you going to do? Take a chainsaw to that 1 ounce coin if you're trying to trade or barter? Or you're going to have to give up that full ounce for something that isn't even worth a full ounce. That's where Mercury dimes, walking liberties, right? Barber dimes, barber quarters. All of these things are very important to the prepping world. If you're someone who doesn't believe in that, then you don't have to go that route, but you will see people that do that. Constitutional silver used to be a great way to go because it had low premiums, but nowadays constitutional silver is some of the highest premium stuff, so I wouldn't recommend that. Same with Eagles. Premiums are starting to come down a little bit, but sometimes you just got to think, what is the best for me right now? Do you already have 500 ounces or do you only have 5 ounces? And that's another reason why I don't like when people try to tell someone else in the comment section how they should stack, because you don't know if that person has more or less silver. If you're someone who already has 1,000 ounces, then go ahead and buy some high premium stuff or what you want. But if you only have 5 ounces, then maybe you should be focusing on just weight. So you can't just assume that someone should be doing something because you don't know where they're at in their stacking journey. Everyone has different financial situations. Everyone has different strategies, more or less silver. And that's why when I give advice, I have to make it very universal, because you can't apply this type of advice to everyone. That's why I try to teach it, and then you can then apply to yourself from reflecting upon the advice and take and leave what you need. That's some of the most important stuff that I don't think people really think about, especially in terms of I guess the psychological aspect. You know, if let's say there's two different people. The one guy is very finicky, always watching doomsday content, always worried about silver's price, maybe second guessing themselves. Someone who's very anxious, that's like that, very emotionally invested into this. And then there's the second stacker, or investor even, that's very cool, calm, and collect, doesn't get too worked up, thinks rationally, steps outside of himself, can look at things as they are, not start assuming. Which one of those two people do you think is going to be more successful? The second guy, the guy that's cool, calm, and collect, right? That's very important. It's very important. You cannot get emotionally invested in this. Impulse buying and panic selling, those are the two most dangerous things, and those are specifically based off investing emotionally. I always say invest with your head, not your heart. Invest with your head, not your heart. So anyways, yeah, I think that's all the main points that I would recommend you don't do. I could go way deeper into this stuff, but I just want to give a surface level type of point, and this is all stuff that I wish I would have known when I first started stacking. So anyways, yeah, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. Make sure you subscribe if you want a chance to win silver. I'm gonna be doing some big giveaways, and I hope you don't miss it, because every time I announce the prizes and announce the winners, people are always in there saying, man, I wish I missed the giveaway. I wish, how do I enter? I'm like, we're already announcing the winner right now. And then they'll ask when the next one is, and I have to say, just hang around, it will come up. Well, the next one is coming up. You don't want to miss it. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.